Welcome everyone, I am Niharika, and in today's lesson we are going to look at some things to avoid while learning English. Now I have observed many English learners do certain things that kind of hurt their progress. Well, in this lesson you're going to look at some points that you really need to avoid if you want to be fluent in English. The very first thing, don't be ashamed to speak up. Well, that's what happens. You know, many of my English students, well, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, I'm too embarrassed, I'm too shy. Well, if you say this, that's it. You are not going to learn to speak confidently. If you are ashamed of speaking in English, what's the point? How are you going to achieve your goal? So, no worries if you are not great in your vocabulary. You don't have to worry if your pronunciation is not right or if your accent is not right. It's okay. We are learners, remember? So, go ahead and speak confidently. Open your mouth and speak. Don't be ashamed. Well, the second thing, don't be frustrated with yourself. Well, we all come across this stage, especially learners. Well, if you're learning English or any other language, there is a point that you will face frustration. But that should not upset you, because the more you'll get frustrated, you won't be able to learn. You won't be able to progress. Now, you know, there are times when you are unable to describe something fully in English, especially the way you would do it in your native language. That's okay. There are also times when you just don't get that right word out of your mouth and your mind just gets completely blocked. That is also all okay. I mean, you don't have to be frustrated. You don't have to show that, oh my God, I am not progressing. It is fine, don't get frustrated, you gotta be calm and composed, and you need patience. You have to show patience, especially when you are learning a new language. So, avoid getting frustrated. The third thing, don't take it personally when someone doesn't understand you. Well, that happens. You know, it's not necessary that whatever you try to say, the other person is gonna understand you. Well, in this world, there are various accents, okay? People from Australia would have a different accent. People from Ireland would have a different accent. Even in America, different parts of America, people speak differently. So, if they're not able to understand your accent, it is all right. It's not necessary that they should get you the first time, right? There will be times when people will say, pardon me, excuse me, I'm sorry I didn't get you. Now, these points should not upset you. Don't take it too personal, it's okay. Just try to speak softly and in a very calm manner, okay, so that people understand you. And if they don't, it's okay. You still gotta talk, right? Also, you gotta be very patient with English learners. You know, you are probably at a different stage, okay? You have more knowledge, more exposure, and you have a lot of vocabulary as compared to someone who's just started learning English. So, you know, that person would not be able to understand your vocabulary, or that person will not be able to understand what you're trying to say. So it's okay. Remember, you were also at that point some time ago. So be patient and don't take these things too personally. The fourth point is that do not compare yourselves with other English speakers. That is the biggest mistake that most of the English learners do. You know, they expect to speak as fluently as any native speaker. Like, you know, there are times when someone would come up to me and say, hey Niharika, I have been learning English past 2 years, but why can't I speak the way you do? Well, just be happy with the level that you are at. You have worked very hard. So be happy with that accomplishment. You know, it's okay because there are people who learn easily. There are people who take a lot of time to learn certain things. So it's all right. You don't have to keep comparing. But yes, we are human beings and we tend to compare a lot. But when it comes to learning a language, please don't do that. Do not compare yourself because every person learns in a different manner. And the fifth point, if you are fluent, don't be arrogant. Well, that's what happens, you know. Once you are very fluent in speaking English, there are people who have this arrogance, who try to be very cocky. Well, please don't do that because English is not a chip in your brain. It's a complete learning process. You are or you have no right to insult anyone. You know, there are people that I come across, if they speak very well, they tend to insult the others. That's not fair. You know, probably it took you a lot of time to learn English, right? At some time ago, you were also at the beginner level. So please don't have that attitude like I know it all, okay? That's not fair for the other person. You need to be nice and you need to be patient with other learners too. So please don't be arrogant. So there you have it all. Now you know the points or the things that you need to avoid while learning English. So it's important for you to keep a note of these points when you are going through the process of learning any language. Okay, do not do these mistakes and trust me, that day is not too far when you will speak confidently. All the very best and I'll be back with a new lesson. Till then, you take care.